If I traded it all, if I gave it.
Welcome back, everyone. My next guest is Carmen Gustin, and she's with Fairway Independent Mortgage. Welcome to the show. You know, before we came on, I had met you, and you are a reverse mortgage specialist.
I am.
And I really related to you. I said I relate to you because my dad had one before he passed. And so I really believe in what you do. I know it worked for our family, my father. So welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you interested in doing this.
Sure. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for having me. I had originated mortgage for 15 years, and I burned out, got out of the business. And in that interim, I worked with seniors. I sold Medicare insurance. I was in their home, and they tell you everything. And I saw how some of them were struggling just to pay basic bills. And a friend convinced me to get back into the industry last year. And during that process, I decided to specialize solely in reverse mortgages. So I don't do any forward mortgages, and I love educating seniors on their options.
And that's what this is all about right now. You're kind of giving them some information here. You're valley-wide. You work with people who are mainly seniors, but it's kind of good to get the whole family involved on this because usually it's the children that are worried about this the most because they've heard all sorts of things about it, myths that aren't really necessarily true. You do free consultations with people?
Absolutely. And I love to do consultations with the senior who's interested, anyone 62 or older, their family and kids, their financial planner, their CPA. I think the more people involved, the better. And it's a big decision, and it needs to be right for everybody.
Now, their website is seniormortgageoptions.com. The phone number to call her is 602-434-1289. And I want to ask you a question. There's been some new things, because you asked me before I came on, I said, I can relate to this because my father had one. He said, did he get one before the changes? Well, I have no idea when these changes came along because, he had actually done it, I think, in 2010. But in any case, let's talk a bit about it. What are the new changes, and why are people so negative about it sometimes? What is that?
That's a great question, Carol. Prior to 2010 and 14, people were doing reverse mortgages, but the government has come in because when Social Security was created, the average person lived to 63, and Social Security starts at 65. Now we're living past 90. So HUD came in, and they created some protections for seniors. A big one is if you have a spouse who's under 62, in the past, if the older person were to die, that younger person had to be out of the home in 6 months to a year, and that gave them a really bad name. Now there's a provision, and we qualify it with that younger spouse, and they can live there until they die.
Right.
There's also required counseling through HUD. So before someone gets involved in a reverse mortgage, they really know all of their options. Well, and that's awesome. They love, everyone who's gone has told me it's been great.
It's also very important to sit down with someone like you who really knows the ins and outs of it and to understand. I think there's a lot of questions that people have to ask. So it's important to work with someone like her. The phone number to call her direct is 602-434-1289. You could check her out on her website. It is seniormortgageoptions.com, and she does free consultations, so you can kind of think about these things that we're talking about here and maybe find out whether this would be right for you or not. So is it better for somebody to actually do this when they're younger, or can they?
That's a great question. In the past, this was a loan of kind of thought of as a loan of last resort. It's now a loan of first resort. If you get a reverse mortgage at 62 and your home is free and clear, something a lot of people don't understand is that equity line. Let's say you have $200,000 available on your reverse mortgage equity line. That unused portion grows monthly. So the amount that you're able to borrow increases on a monthly basis. At the end of year one, instead of having $200,000 available, you'd have $210,500 roughly available based on the LIBOR margin and index added to 1.25%. So that's a complicated feature that a lot of people don't understand. And if you wait until you're 80, you don't have time for that to grow.
Right. That's a good point. And again, how many people out there, if you're listening and you have your house almost free and paid for, free and clear, which is really nice. If you do, I'm happy for you. And then you could do something like this and actually grow your money. It almost sounds like another way of investing, but in yourself.
Absolutely. And financial planners love this product. They can work with you on your investments. Maybe it makes more sense to take money off the line, or you leave that line alone and you're not paying interest on it. So it's a nice safety measure that's growing for you.
Again, you can call her direct. She does free consultations. The number to call is 602-434-1289. It's seniormortgageoptions.com, and she works with people valley-wide. What are some of the things that people should be aware of?
One of the main things to be aware of is work with somebody you trust. I would personally recommend not working with someone in a call center. Work with someone who you do have to see their eyes and that you trust, and you can, really research their company, research them. They're not all in it for the commission. They have a reputation to uphold. You also want to be sure that you can afford your taxes and insurance. People sometimes think with a reverse mortgage, the bank owns your home, and the bank does not own your home. It's like a regular mortgage. You have to pay your taxes and insurance. If you don't, there is a call provision just like in a regular mortgage. It has to be your primary residence. But be aware of that. Those are the main things. Work with somebody you trust. Make sure you aren't pressured into it. And understand the product.
I'll tell you something. A lot of people think that it's not good for the ones that are left over. I think that is the one that they think one of the things that they think about. I know for us, I know for a fact. I mean, I'm firsthand with somebody who had passed away with a reverse mortgage. But the good news is that he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and there was everything that if you follow the rules and you follow what you're supposed to do, it really is not bad at all. It's better for that person. It's really for the person who is older, who it could pass away. I hate to say it that way. It's for them.
Absolutely. And get the children involved and talk to them. And you'll find in most cases the children want the parent to live comfortably in retirement.
Some people need to. I mean, that's the fact.
Exactly. And I'm not a financial planner, but done with a financial planner, we found that sometimes their inheritance for the children can even be greater when you work together with everybody involved.
I think the main thing is to know that if you all talk about it, it's more of something that you do need to talk about. And if you do what you need to do and plan it out. I think that's another thing that's very important. And that's why it's a great idea to just talk. She'll do a consultation with you. Do you go to them or do they go to you? How does that work?
Carol, I will go to them, and also on a monthly basis, I do hold classes, so they can check out my website or give me a call. That's kind of
where you do your classes.
They vary. Sometimes they're at a restaurant, sometimes they're at a title company, sometimes people get a free meal, sometimes they don't, but I do those every month now, and that's a great way to learn about the product and ask me questions.
Is that all on your website?
That's all on my website.
Okay, it's seniormortgageoptions.com. She does work valley-wide. She does free consultations. Her phone number is 602-434-1289. And she also does classes once a month, so you can see where her next one's coming up. When is the next one?
Unfortunately, Carol, I don't have the next one in stone, but I'll be knowing that shortly, probably by next Friday.
So you'll be able to see all the information there on the website. You mentioned that they do own their own home, and I wanted to get that again separately there so that people understand that it isn't something where they end up not owning their home. Go ahead.
That is the biggest question I get. I don't want a reverse mortgage. I don't want the bank to own my home. You still own your home. This is an FHA loan, and you still own your home. Any equity you have is always yours. So if you have a ton of equity and have a reverse mortgage, you go to sell, the proceeds go to you or your heirs. The home is yours. So that's a misconception I hear a lot.
Right. But again, it's very important. And the people that are older that are doing these things, they are very protective of what they have, and they want to understand it very well. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And they should be. The other nice thing about a reverse mortgage today as opposed to the past is the equity line feature. In the past, they were lump sum. So people would get large amounts of money, and then unfortunately, they'd blow it. And then they wouldn't have the money. Now you can only get 60% of what's available the first year, so there is money sitting out there. You can also choose to get money as monthly income. Some people get a reverse mortgage just to pay off a mortgage, and that helps them out in retirement. And you can do a combination of all of those and change those at any time.
There are so many different things that you can do. I know my father, even though he lived in California, though you can help people, I know with your company nationwide, I don't know if they change anything or different rules for different states, but certainly I know that it did work for my father, and I'm glad he did have it. And in the long run, I think the children, if it's done properly, and usually if you're working with someone like Carmen, it will get done properly. In the long run, it works out to be the right thing to do.
It's a great tool for retirement. I really believe in it.
And again, she is valley-wide. She works with people either in their home or you do these classes now.
I sure do.
And she'll have the next one that she's doing up on her website soon. But you can learn a lot about reverse mortgages if you have any questions about them. She's an expert in them. And that website is seniormortgageoptions.com. Their phone number is 602-434-1289. So what would be your final words for people today that are listening that you might want to leave them with?
I think the final word I'd want to leave people with is you've worked your whole life and now you're retired, and it's unfortunate when I see people who are just struggling to make ends meet, and the ability to go on a vacation, to help their grandchildren, to buy a new car, maybe sitting in the home. It's been determined that there's $1 trillion sitting in home equity for people over 62, so take advantage.
It may be that you just need it, and you need it because something happened, your wife passed away, you don't have that the Social Security coming in
long-term
anymore.
care,
A lot of things can happen, and it's a good option. Check it out. The website is seniormortgageoptions.com. Her phone number, 602-434-1289.